So I get asked a lot how a woman can be married or be in a relationship and decenter men at the same time. So first, I'm gonna explain to you guys what decentering men really means because there's a lot of definitions going around that are incorrect. And then also, I'm gonna show you how you can be in a relationship with a man and not make him the center of your world. Now, the definition of decentering a man doesn't mean man hatred or misandry and all this other stuff. It just means that you're not making a man the center of your world. He's not the center of your world. You are the star of your own movie. And if you turn around and make a man the star of your own movie and you play the supporting actor role or actress role, that means you're kind of dumb.
All these podcasts of men saying like women don't bring anything to the table, women don't do anything, these modern women ain't shit. If y'all want to fuck a man, just say that. You don't gotta make a podcast to say how you really feel because it's starting to get suspicious. Either y'all want to deal with women in their bullshit or you don't, and you want to deal with a man. What is your other options? Y'all be talking like y'all got other options. What are you gonna do? Date a fish? Shut the fuck up and deal with it like we have to.
All right, this is not the her whole narrative. Okay, this shit was like 5 minutes long. It was like 5 minutes long. Her whole diatribe. Okay, I cut it out because I don't need the whole thing to make my point clear about how I feel about what she's saying about decentering men and being the star of their own life. Okay, I don't need that shit. If you want to see it, I will post it in its entirety so you can peruse it as much as you like it. But I don't feel the need to do that because I feel a certain way about this topic. Idea of a woman decentering me and we're in some sort of long-term relationship, probably married, definitely, married. Okay, let's just say married. The idea of being decentered does not appeal to me in any sense of the word and whatnot. That's the problem that we have with people retaining their individuality in what is supposed to be a sacred union and whatnot. So that's a big fucking no from me, right? For me, and it should be for anybody listening to my voice that's a straight heterosexual male and shit. I can't speak for the other communities and the other orientations because I'm not of that. I'm not of the cloth, the rainbow cloth over there. Shit. Okay, and I'm pretty sure, given the high rates of DV in the lesbian community, that they feel the same way I feel. Okay, just to be honest and shit. Okay, yeah. So this content creator has a TikTok is says she gives an instruction on how you can be married / in a relationship and still decenter men. I think that if a woman feels this way, they should not be married. A lot of these women should not be married or any type of relationship. They need to go into it. They need to go into some counseling. Okay, they need to have weekly sessions with accredited and competent analyst above the age of 50. Okay, we're not going to get our community back. Okay, this is it for you young dudes out there. Okay, this is the shit. This is how they think. It's a problem in our community. Black women see themselves as a separate race. Okay, we share genetic material and markers and the ethnicity and shit, but they see themselves as a separate fucking race. Now I can't say that enough and whatnot because I think people either overanalyze it or real sweet the shit and it gets on my fucking nerves. This is a crisis. Okay? This is a crisis. And sometimes I jokingly refer to it as one of the reasons we need reparations as a race, okay? Because of social engineering and shit like this. This is unheard of. This is almost solely, in our community and everything that we do in our community because we're the root of the tree, in the creation. It leaks out into other, you know, groups, okay? Leaks out into other groups and shit. This is a mess. Alright, I'm gonna get back on topic and shit, I find out that a woman that I'm in a relationship with is in the process of decentering me and shit while I'm legally bound to her and I have to put her on, take care of her upkeep and be a quote unquote provider, and shit and getting nothing in return, that's a hard no. I'm gonna have to burn that shit down. The whole house, everything goes. The minute I find out I'm being decentered and shit, and she's laying up in the fucking house, I gotta look at her and shit. You know, she's going about her business. She's you know, becoming a single individual in a group setting and shit that legally, I'm legally bound to and shit. I have to pay into, and I have to pay to get out of that shit. No, that's a wrap for me. I'd rather get a divorce. Just she could take her money now and get this stepping, and we'll call it a fucking day. When I hear shit like this, I feel like I'm going into my villain arc. Okay, I really feel like I'm going to my villain arc. I don't feel like fucking no women, or fucking with no women, or messing with them or nothing. But like as a villain or nothing. I just feel like fuck y'all. Like, hey, why we gotta accept this shit? Hey, we're people too, right? We're human beings too, right? We have needs too, right? You guys don't never talk about that shit, fulfilling nothing. You only talk about that as a transactional situation and shit, doing something to get something back and shit. It's disgusting. It's disgusting. It's hard for me to watch that as a Generation Xer, okay? And as a misogynist anarchist, it's hard for me to watch your demeanor deteriorate over all this time. Over the past 30 some fucking years, y'all have got worse. Why would I tell any young man, any man for that matter, to fuck with y'all, other than take you to Pound Town? The only reason I say that is because you guys, that's the only thing that you're extremely proficient at above all other races and shit for the most part. Because that's all you practice and shit. And you sit up in the mirror all day and shit and look at your reflection. You don't learn nothing from looking at yourself because you don't see nothing in the mirror like a fucking vampire and shit. All you want is resources, but we give you that shit. What do you do with it? Nothing. You don't do nothing. Even the businesses you built are not permanent, they're not generational, and they don't help their community, the ethnic community they come from. Is that an anomaly? You're solely the only race of women. You're a matriarchy and shit in this black community because there's no patriarchy, you morons. Alright? And there's no reason for a man to be in a relationship with a woman that feels the need to decenter him. Right? Two become one in a marriage, in a spiritual marriage, bound by law. And I gotta take pennies on the dollar. It's a part of what I call a consolation prize lifestyle that these women are preaching to you, on the low. All this sign language, the shaming, the rage baiting, it's going right out the fucking window. A lot of guys waking up. At least I hope that's the situation. And, I really don't give a fuck. I'm 56, man. What am I looking at individually? I'm not looking at no relationship with no, to be in a relationship with this kind of shit going on. You guys are neurotic. I want somebody that's an adult. It's a competent adult. That is not connected to anything that I would naturally provide in a union, a long-term relationship where we're cohabiting and living with each other, and I'm fucking their brains out shit when I feel like doing that or not doing that. Somebody I want to be able to talk to and I feel a certain way, and not have them scoff or side-eye their phone while they playing Candy Crush and all. I'm not gonna put up with that shit. Well, I'm not gonna tell a young man to put up with that shit. If you're not the center of her world, she don't need to be there. If she don't know her role, she shouldn't be in your motherfucking house. Okay? And women get mad, get charged up and shit. But what are we here for? We're not here to serve you. I'm not gonna go back and forth with no woman about shit. If I don't feel like doing something, I ain't gonna fucking do it. If you ain't, I tell the sister right here, a little short haired sister, she's talking all this nonsense and shit. If I was her husband and she started this bullshit, we gonna sit down and have a 5-minute talk. I'm gonna say, hey, I need this, that, and that from you. Okay? I love you. I married you because I love you. I married you. I want you to be my wife. I want to build something with you, a family preferably, have children, and live happily ever after and shit. Can you do that? I want a yes or no answer. She's probably gonna say no. She's gonna try to put conditions. You just raise your palm so she can talk to that bitch. Then you tell her this. You say, hey, if you can't do your job, I'm not gonna keep you around and shit. Good luck in your future endeavors. Alright? Good luck in your future endeavors. And I'm out. Okay? There's no reason for you to sacrifice yourself, your happiness, anything and shit for a selfish, narcissistic person. Right? Who's alternately codependent because they want you around. For what reason? just to look at your ass. You know, I don't want to be out here clout chasing and shit. You know, they just want to have a motherfucker just say they got a motherfucking shit. I know, I've been there. You know, I remember looking at my wedding ring and shit and kissing that bitch. Because I was happy I was out of the game and shit that I had got married and shit. It didn't last, obviously. Alright, this is the way of the world. Alright, young man, I ain't coming out here as some paragon of virtue. I'm a regular guy. I'm telling you that you don't have to put up with this bullshit. You don't even have to listen to no woman telling you no shit like that. The minute you start hearing some shit like the nonsense that you think is nonsense get on your fucking nerves, just get them walk away. Just say, hey, you know, I understand where you're coming from, but I'm not on that program, okay? I mean, I don't want to hear any more shit, you know? Good luck in your future endeavors, nigga. You know, yeah, she want to keep, you know, going through it and shit, getting hyped and shit, because they get mad when you don't listen to them. It's their way or the highway, okay? They want you to walk the plank and shit if you don't listen to them. They want to destroy your ass if you don't want to be a part of their codependent nightmare, they call a relationship. They want to destroy your ass and shit. You can pull out your phone, go on the search engine, and tap in there how many women are on the planet Earth. And when that number comes up, you just face that phone towards it and you say, hey, one of these women beside you is going to give me what I want. Okay? Now I'm going to walk away. She probably laugh in your face like, yeah, right, nigga, blah, 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 blah. But the supposed passport brothers who I just say are men taking vacations. There's been a huge uptick in sightings of black women in areas where they think other black men are traveling, trying to catch them and shit. They're making videos in Thailand talking about how hard it is to get a black man to date them in Thailand and shit. I'm like, hey, why bring sand to the beach, or in your case, dirt? Right? No man would be doing that shit if they had a decent life partner, as you guys like to call it and shit. I call it a fucking wife. I don't want to be married to somebody I don't love. Okay? Somebody I don't want to look at every day. Somebody I don't want to be there when they're up and definitely when they're down. Somebody I'm not gonna. I done shot 100% in my relationships. Okay? I have given everything of myself in the failed relationships that I've had. Okay? The women that mothered both of my kids and shit. I have given all of myself. I don't think twice about it and shit. Okay, I wasn't perfect and shit. Right? It wasn't perfect and shit, but like that. I hate being decentered. Okay? I don't like that. I don't like that I have to sacrifice myself and be exhausted and blasted out and destroy my body, fuck up my mind by getting less sleep and shit, less rest, and then I have to manage you because you're a giant toddler and shit. You don't know how to take care of the fucking house or the bills and shit. I'm just giving you a check and shit because I'm too busy to even go to the internet and pay the light bill and shit. And I get trusted to you, or you fuck it off for money, or fucking going around, or probably cheating on my ass and shit. It's like, fuck you, man. Like I don't want other young men to get to the point that I got to where you just exasperated. You just like, fuck, man. Oh, at least she ain't here, At least she ain't here. I can get some sleep now. That she can keep that other nigga up. She might be, dabbling in, dipping her clam in the Rainbow River there over there and shit. I don't care. You shouldn't care either. They show you their value. It's entirely selfish to even, have a conversation like this about decentering and all that shit. You should just get the fuck out. If she loves you, if she really loves you and respects you, she would divorce your ass. She would tell you how she feel about this. I won't need to decenter you, and I love you. Well, I respect you as a human being at least. I'm gonna get the fuck out and live my life by myself and pay my own bills and all that other shit. Okay? And I think, in a true equality world and shit, when women pull this shit on you, they should have to pay your ass. Okay? You shouldn't get a free pass to rebuild their lives over and over again and fucking up other people and shit. Alright? Decenter these nuts. I don't want to hear that shit. And when a big ick for me is like when they start talking like armchair psychologists and shit. They started to get that shit out of the Cracker Jack box. If anybody know what a Cracker Jack is these days. Yeah. You know, read some shit online on their phone and they start talking to you about it and shit, and it's just retarded sounding. They start talking about emotional intelligence. That's another red flag. You know, just words, emotional intelligence and patriarchy and all that bullshit. And then I hear the word patriarchy. That's it. I push the eject button quick, the purge button. I'll be like, hey, that's enough. Get the fuck out of my face. Okay, if you don't get the fuck out of my face, I'm getting the fuck out of your face. Alright, I ain't coming back, bitch. You can have all this shit in here. I'm not coming back. I don't want to hear no patriarchy. I don't want to talk about any alternative types of marriages or relationships. I'm not talking about none of this shit because the government don't give you no alternatives for making a legal and binding contract that you have to pay to get out of in perpetuity over time. No money that you're not going to be able to use for yourself. If someone else, another independent person who has a free reign and unfair advantage to get out of some shit, can just continually rebuild and fuck her life up over and over again. Fuck that noise, man. Alright? Fuck that. Break the chains. Break the chains, man. They be talking about this patriarchy shit. I'ma help you fight the patriarchy by not being in a relationship with your ass and shit, man. What the fuck you gotta talk about now? What y'all gonna talk about now? Y'all gonna sit in your fucking car, in your truck and shit, or whatever the fuck you doing. Wherever you at trying to invade men's spaces and look for your next victim, what are you gonna talk about now? You got nothing. Okay? You got nothing. And you ain't gonna get nothing. Keep it up, sisters. Keep it up. You know, this ain't no warning or nothing because we already passed that line and shit. This shit is happening. This chaos theory, like the fucking Jurassic Park movie and shit. Okay? You know, dropping a tiny bit of water into a pool of calm and watching the motion ripples happen. That's the result of your overt misandry and hatred and your goddamn bigotry across gender lines and shit. That's the result of this shit. You eat that shit up. You let that lip hang and take this motherfucking L.
And please talk to us. My brothers, talk to us and tell us what we doing. I want to know. I want to listen. I listen. Tell me so I can tell the rest of us. So I can tell my sisters what we need to fix. If you don't talk to us, how are we going to know? Like, I need you to really be genuine about it. Like, just take some time to think about it and reply to this. I want to know, what can we do to fix this? Because you are for me, I am for you. You are the king and I am the queen. I am your helpmate. I was made for you. I'm not supposed to be your enemy. You know what I mean? We're together. We're a team. So respectfully, I want to know, what is the issue? And I want it to be fixed. Start with me. Please tell me how I can fix it. What I need to do. So I can let the rest of them know what we got.
Come on, man.
Please.
No.
Please. I'm on kissing your feet.
No.
Please. Please.
Come on, man.
Please. Please. I'm sorry.
Stop. Get
Please.
up, man. Get up.
Please. 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 Please.
No.
Please.
Stop,
Kissing your
man.
feet. Please.
No.
Please. Please.
Let me go.
Please.